Now, for almost 8 weeks, our homes have become our offices, as lots of us, loose women included, have had to suddenly adapt to video call meetings. And for those with children, and I kind of speak from experience, it can be a bit challenging juggling childcare with work commitments. But one mother was reportedly livid when a work colleague asked her to turn her camera off whilst she breastfed on a video work call. Now, the colleague said the request was asked politely and in a very private message. It wasn't publicly asked. So where do we stand with this? And I mean, we're juggling lots of things at the minute, aren't we?
Yeah.
We're at home, we're trying to work.
Why people find breastfeeding offensive? It's like if the baby's hungry, then you've got to feed the baby, haven't you? I mean, I was in a bookshop once and there was this man speaking really, really loudly and the lady was breastfeeding. She went, excuse me, would you mind keeping your voice down a little bit? He went, would you mind taking your boob out of her mouth to the baby? It was just like, oh my God, how rude can you get? I mean, I used to breastfeed. You cover it up and that you haven't got your breast out, you know, you've got a little thing over it and everything, but I'd breastfeed anywhere that I went and I never ever worried about it. People didn't find it offensive or anything.
Yeah. So you were never ever conscious of really how
Not really, because you couldn't
thought.
see my breast. It's like you have like a blanket over it while you're breastfeeding the baby and that, and then you put it away.
I think
You've
that's
got the bras
only...
that it slips down and then slips back up again, haven't you?
That's the only way I could even try and understand somebody's problem with it. It would be if you could see a whole nipple or whatever going in and out of the mouth. I'm like you, Linda. I don't see the problem. You have to feed a baby. It's essential. It's necessary. No one else can breastfeed that baby but you, and you've also got to work. And it is that simple. But I don't know what the scenario was here, but from what I was reading, what we were talking about earlier, the person who asked if he could not see it said that he could see.
Yeah, there was a bit too much on show.
Yeah,
there, like
and found it uncomfortable. And I think, you know, it shouldn't be a problem. It really shouldn't. You should be able to just breastfeed wherever, even if your whole boob is out. It shouldn't be an issue. It's not. It doesn't have to be a sexual organ. It is there to feed your baby. But at the same time, if my dad was on a video conference call and could see somebody's boob, or my brother, or, you know, I think there would be some... I'm not sure that men know how to react sometimes, and sometimes they don't want to feel like they're looking at the wrong thing or saying the wrong thing or doing the wrong thing. So there's got to be a bit of tolerance. I don't think people mean to be offensive, and I think you're absolutely... I'm with you. I think you should just be able to breastfeed everywhere. But I do also understand that some people are like, oh, I don't know what to do with myself. I can see your nipples and we're on a work call, and I have some empathy.
Yeah. I was actually very conscious when I was breastfeeding if I was out and around, and it was because of other people. I didn't care because it was the most natural thing in the world, and she needed fed, and that was it. But I was very aware of maybe making other people uncomfortable, I have to say. And I think of maybe my dad's age group, you know, where again it's that sort of, you know, they want to look and they don't know what to say, and I never wanted anyone to feel like that whilst I was doing it. So I kind of understand, you maybe sort of have to know your audience to a certain extent, which you can't do if you're in a cafe or a restaurant or anything else, but maybe within that work call, maybe...
I couldn't sit with... So I found breastfeeding really difficult, but I did enjoy it when it was good. But I still didn't want to sit with my boob out. I always wanted to have a blanket over me or... like just cover that. I found it difficult for everyone to be coming round, and that wasn't anything to do with the baby or me feeding. It was more of a personal. I don't want anyone to see my boobs. Do you know what I mean?
No, me neither.
Not that they can. They'd have to look far down.
I'm like that as well. I'm a bit shy when it comes to that. So when I used to breastfeed Kira, I mean, sometimes even when family came around, I'd go and sit up in the bedroom, and it wasn't them having a problem with it. It was just me, because to me, yes, it's a natural thing, but it's still my boob hanging out, and even with a cover over it. And I've got to say, I am one of these people. I'm not, you can breastfeed wherever you like for me, but I can't help looking at it. Whatever you're doing, I know it's natural, but I find myself staring at people's boobs when they're out, thinking, wow, that's a boob.
I always think, how are you doing that with ease? I get like real breastfeeding envy whenever I see someone, you know, just like whipping it out and sticking the baby on, because I found it really hard. I always sit there and I think, oh, you're doing such a good job. How did you do that? Let me have a look at how your shape is.
But
Can I just say that I could be breastfeeding now and you wouldn't know, because my boobs are on my lap.
Exactly. No, but this is the thing. If that in the conference call, I don't understand how they even knew she was breastfeeding.
Yeah,
it is, you can't...
The angle must have been quite
Yeah,
wide.
Also, it was a video conference call, so the baby would have been crying and she wouldn't have been able to talk to her work colleagues anyway.
Yeah,
so the
very
way
true.
to keep the baby quiet is to feed it.
Yeah,
it's the most natural thing in the world to do.
Exactly, and it's hard when you're having to juggle the work thing at home and a little one that's wanting fed. It's of course it's going to be difficult, isn't it? But anyway, Coleen, you're doing well there. Yes, the camera has positioned perfectly. Yeah.